Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We're going to begin with House bills not heard in the subcommittee. Staff will summarize the identical and similar bills, and so I want to start with that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also just wanted to make a quick announcement that we had several bills that where the patron had requested they go by for today. And so I'm going to start with House Bill 1157 is going to go by for the day. And that's Delegate Krizik's bill. House Bill 285, Delegate McQuinn's bill is going by for today. And House Bill 675, Delegate Runyon's bill by for the day. And there will be a Monday meeting of this committee.
Correct.
All right. Madam Chair, starting with the identical bills, House Bill 800 is Delegate Herring's bill related to public service companies that pull attachments to accommodate TV systems and telecommunications. It is identical to Senate Bill 713, Senator Morrison's bill, which passed the Senate 40 yes, 0 no.
Move for report.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. All in favor of that motion, please record your yeas and nays electronically.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14. I don't see it yet. Ayes 14, no 0, bill reports.
Madam Chair, the next bill, House Bill 951, relates to local government service employees in transition periods. The identical bill, Senate Bill 247, Senator McPike's bill, was continued to 2025 in the committee at a vote of 11 yes, 4 noes.
Senator Deeds. Senator Favola.
Sorry.
You want to hear from the patron?
Yes.
Would you like me to speak to the bill, ma'am? I'm happy to.
Yes, we're gonna give you 2 minutes.
Thank you. So bill has been supported by the labor community. This legislation would basically empower localities to enact displaced worker ordinances and provide protections to service workers when their employer changes. This is a local option bill that permits any locality in the Commonwealth to provide for protections for building service employees when the contract they work under is turned over to a new contractor. Right now, these employees don't have that protection. The building service workers in Virginia generally have no legal rights if the contractor they work for changes and the incoming contractor decides not to retain the existing workforce. The same is true when a building is sold or the building service work is contracted out when it had previously been performed in-house. This is a local option bill. It does some very narrowly tailored things that localities may, if they so choose, by ordinance adopt. That's all this does. It's not mandating anything for localities. And so I hope it's the will of the committee to pass and endorse the bill.
Senator Favola.
Madam Chair, my question is to either the patron or to staff. Is this a narrower bill than Senator McPike's bill? How does this differ?
Staff Attorney.
I was going to say, Madam Chair, I believe the bills are identical.
I think it's identical.
What happened, Madam Chair, if I would respond? What happened was originally the bill was drafted as a public service only bill. It was meant to be public and private. But what we did was we modified and changed what was required or what was options to be required by localities. So it is slightly changed.
Senator McPike, did I see you in queue?
Yeah. Yes, Madam Chair. So this is an important issue, and I think they are identical. In fact, we made the same substitute, and I know the committee is likely to have a disposition to take the same action. But I would request a little bit different action, Madam Chair, is that if it is carried over, that it go to the Public Procurement Work Group, which did a lot of work this year on CM design bills. I do think it's an important issue that they do take a look at how we move this forward. We didn't take that recommendation on my bill, but I have a sense that the committee's probably going to go that way and carry it over, but I would at least request we dig in and take a look at this, because I think there's some fairness issues where it's not necessarily the employee that is at fault for a loss of contract, and they do go to some, based on where they live, go to that job because it's close by.
Can you condense that into a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. I move to carry the bill over and send it to the Public Procurement Work Group.
Okay, you heard the motion in a second. All in favor, please. Oh, we're gonna do this electronically. Please designate electronically.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Ayes 14, no zero.
Ayes 14, no zero. The bill will be continued with a letter. Back to you.
Madam Chair, the next bill, House Bill 904, Delegate Prices Bill. This relates to voter registration, list maintenance activities, cancellation procedures, required record matches. It's identical to Senate Bill 300, Senator Rouse's bill, which passed the Senate 21 yes, 19 no.
Madam Chair,
Delegate Price,
I just wanted to clarify that.
you're on a good roll. So.
No, but I did just want to clarify that we are both going to have the version that is before you, 300 and 904.
You're in good shape. I heard a motion.
Motion to report, unless you want us to kill it. If you want a PPI, we can do that too.
There's a motion. There's a motion and a second that the bill will be reported. All in favor of that motion, please vote electronically.
Ayes 10, noes 4.
Ayes 10, noes 4. The bill is reported. Thank you. Now we're going to go to the patrons list, the sign-up list. I think I need to take hearing out of the list.
There you go.
SRINIVASAN. That's you. Now pronounce it for me.
Srinivasan.
Say it one more time.
Srinivasan.
Srinivasan.
Thank you.
Delegate Srinivasan. I
Thank
got
you,
it
Madam
now.
Chair. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman and members of the committee. HB 1515 seeks to require that discovery materials in criminal cases be sent through electronic means unless it's impossible to do so or prohibited by statutory law. The Virginia Supreme Court is directed to promulgate rules. There's a delayed enactment. The effective enactment date is January 1, 2027, to give parties enough time to prepare. And the Supreme Court is directed to promulgate rules to implement by July 1st, 2026. This bill does not have a fiscal impact on the Commonwealth. HB 1515 reported from courts of justice on a vote of 10-4, and I would ask for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Senator McDougal, do you have a question of Delegate Srinivasan?
Madam, question not of him, but I know one of the representatives from the Commonwealth Attorneys Association, Nate Green from James City, Williamsburg, is here, and it's a different posture than it was downstairs. I wouldn't mind hearing from him what they think, if anything, would be the physical impact to
forward.
his office.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Nathan Green, Commonwealth Attorney for the City of Williamsburg and James City County.
Yes.
Here speaking on behalf of the Virginia Association of Commonwealth Attorneys. We recognize that there may not be a state fiscal impact because right now the state provides $0 to Commonwealth attorneys for operating expenses. No one would like to be dragged into the 21st century more than your locally elected Commonwealth attorneys. But right now, the state provides no money for technology, for equipment, for scanners. It provides nothing that would allow us to do what this bill would require, which is to provide the discovery by electronic means. Localities fund offices differently. There is not a uniform method of providing discovery because the amount of resources that offices have are not uniform. Some offices have been able to obtain electronic discovery methods or procedures and systems to the tune of about $3,000 per user. If we were to incorporate this entire system across all Commonwealth attorneys' offices to make it uniform, then we could uniformly provide discovery by electronic means. The budget for that would be about $3 million per year. And so if We do not oppose providing discovery by electronic means. We would like to. We just need the resources and funds to do so.
Any questions of either the patron or the speaker?
Madam Chairman,
Senator McDougal?
maybe this is for staff. Is there anything in the House or Senate budget that would help the Commonwealth's attorneys be able to perform this task, either one time or annually?
Madam Chair, Senator McDougal, no, there's no money in the Senate or House budgets that would be passed on the Commonwealth's attorneys for this specific expense.
Madam Chair,
Senator Dees.
I would say we've already got a delayed enactment clause on the bill, not till January 1, 2027. So that's beyond even this biennium.
Madam Chairman, is Senator Deeds proposing adding language that if funded by Appropriation Act?
I'm gonna ask Senator Dees if he wants to respond to that.
Madam Chair, I don't know that we have a responsibility to do it. I don't know that you have to do the discovery through one electronic method alone. I mean, I think there are lots of ways to do this that aren't going to require $3 million. I think if we put this all for several years, there's got to be an easier way to provide discovery. What you're really trying to get at are people that have to go to Commonwealth Attorney's office and sit in the office for hours on end while they go through files, even open file policy, even the Commonwealth attorneys that are the most helpful. It's still an awful lot of work for sometimes an underpaid court-appointed lawyer to spend time doing. We're trying to make it easier. And honestly, in the long run, it's going to be cheaper to do that.
Madam Chairman?
Senator McDougal.
I don't disagree with Senator Deeds, but we're also not paying our Commonwealth's attorneys a tremendous amount of money, and there's not a lot of them. We even are finding that many of our Commonwealth's attorneys can't get responses to advertisements for employment because they're not paying enough, particularly at the entry level. So, Madam Chairman, I understand what the issue is, and I don't disagree with the delegate or the senator. Where I think there's a problem is we're now going to be putting this on prosecutors who don't have the resources to do it, and what's going to happen on some pretty serious cases when they don't have the resources to perform these tasks. I think we ought to figure out the fiscal piece at the same time as we're doing the legislation.
Well, Madam Chair, might I suggest we put an enactment clause on this bill that creates a work group?
Is that your motion?
Yes, that's my that's a suggestion anyway. That creates a work group to take a look at the fiscal side of it, figure out how much it's going to cost, how we're going to pay for it, and have a report back to this committee well before the January 1, 2027, maybe by November 2025.
I'm gonna ask committee if you all understand that motion.
Yes.
Can I get a second then? It's moved and seconded, what he said.
Madam Chair?
Senator Obershane.
I just have these bad feelings. I remember Senator Stosh talking about those bills in the drawer, and in 2027, we're going to open that drawer up and see a bill and maybe not have a way to resolve that. I'm concerned about that.
Madam Chair, I get that, but I think that the work group is going to show that this isn't going to cost $3 million to fix, that most Commonwealth attorneys are going to be able to handle it without that kind of expense. And if there is a bill, we'll have to address it. We'll obviously have to address that.
But, Madam Chair.
Senator Obershane.
I mean, that just is contrary, I think, to the approach that we've been taking this year. I mean, if we've got the money to fund it, we're funding it. If we don't have the money and don't know how much it's going to cost, we've been putting together work groups before we pass a statutory mandate for us to do something that we don't know how much it's going to cost or how we're going to accomplish it.
Madam Chair.
And it has a delayed enactment clause on it for January 1st, 2027. Senator Dees, you have a motion, right?
I had a motion.
And there was a second, and I failed to carry that motion. I said all in favor, and that's where I stopped. Aye. Aye? Okay, all right. So I think we're clear that the motion is agreed to?
In concept.
In concept? Can I get a motion? Okay. There is a motion to report as amended. All in favor? This is an electronic vote, roll call, please.
Eyes 10, noes 4.
Ayes 10, noes 4. The bill, you're a good lawyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Senator
You're
Dees.
very welcome, thank you. Delegate Lopez. I thought I saw Delegate Lopez. Okay, we'll come back to him. Oh, he's on the phone. Somebody else?
Do Delegate Siebold?
Delegate Siebel. Delegate Lopez. We charge you by the hour for waiting.
I was doing a work call. I apologize. I was outside. So the bill is, let me see.
949.
949. Thank you, Madam Chair. So in 2014, the Elk River chemical spill disaster left 300,000 people in West Virginia without drinking water for a week, including the state capital. Despite a 2016 report from DEQ, DOH, and DEM mandated by the General Assembly that concluded that there were gaps in Virginia's regulation of chemical storage tanks, we still don't have a regulated large chemical above-ground storage tank system in place. This bill is a solid step forward. It has the support, and I'm very proud of the support, the Virginia Manufacturing Association, the Agribusiness Council, and the League of Conservation Voters, among others. And I would hope that after working on this for several years, that it's a positive step in the right direction and begins to provide us with the foundation to finally address this issue.
Madam Chair, I think we have a
Thank you.
committee substitute.
Senator Dees, we have a committee
I think
substitute.
we have a committee substitute, yes.
Could I get a motion on the substitute?
I'll move the substitute.
There's a motion and a second that the committee substitute be agreed to. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Can someone speak to the substitute?
Yes, the staff attorney will do that. We want to know what it says.
Madam Chair, this committee substitute would just change the enactment clauses as it comes before us. The provisions of the act become effective on the effective date of the EPA final rule. We would push that out to the following fiscal year, and then the same thing with the DEQ guidelines to be developed with it.
So I appreciate that, Madam Chair. I was hoping that we would be able to enable DEQ to sort of front load this and move forward, but if that's the will of the committee, I'm perfectly willing to accept that as a friendly amendment.
Well, but the amendment has already been agreed to. I
Well,
need a
there you go.
motion.
Motion to move the report as amended.
Second. There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. Please designate electronically.
Eyes 10, noes 4.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I have a few amendments to offer the committee.
Madam Chair, the amendments would do three things. First, for the retroactive piece in the second enactment clause, it would subject them to the appropriations as provided in the General Appropriation Act. On line 30 in the substitute, it would delay things instead of July 1, 2024. It would be, the effective date would be July 1, 2025. And then same thing, the effective date of all the provisions of the act will be January 1st, 2025.
Committee amendment be agreed to. All in favor that the Patriots, that's the Patriots amendment?
Yeah.
Oh, that's yours. Okay. There's a motion and a second that the amendment be agreed to. All in favor say aye. Aye. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I want to hear from you for about a minute, and then we're going to make a motion on the bill.
Oh, sure, yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. We offered these amendments because this was heard, I believe it was yesterday, in full committee, and there was a concern about the costs associated with the retroactivity. So, you know, making sure that this bill, my priority is to make sure that this bill passes. And if that is something that is a concern of the committee, that's something that we could bring back next year. So that's why we offered this as a way of ensuring that we can continue progressing with this legislation, and then the other costs that are already associated with the bill have already been absorbed, so that at this point there is no fiscal impact by adding that clause on line 30.
Senator Marsden?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think this bill just puts us in a consistent position with time calculated for eligibility for parole, time calculated for how long your sentence, when it begins and when it ends, and counting those days. It's the same principle. It's consistent, it's fair, and I think it's important that we pass this out.
And we're all where you are, except that we need a little bit more time to work on it. So Senator Deeds, did you have a motion?
I would like to just take the bill back on Monday, just so we can kind of absorb the calls and you put on there and try to figure it all out.
Okay.
Okay?
Without objection.
Pass the bill by on Monday.
Yeah, without objection, the bill will go by for the day.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee.
The next person in, Delegate Helmer? Yes, our staff can present so we can keep moving.
Yes, Madam Chair, the next bill is House Bill 277, Delegate Helmer, relating to consumer protection. It prohibits under the Consumer Protection Act the advertising, displaying, or offering of any pricing information for goods or services without displaying the total price, which must include all mandatory fees or charges other than taxes imposed.
Any questions? Comments?
Madam Chair, that's 277?
Yes.
I'll move the reenactment clause be added to that bill then.
You heard the motion? Second. And a second that the reenactment clause be added. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Senator Deeds, you
Now
have a
move the
motion?
report.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported with the reenactment clause added. Please vote electronically.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill is recorded with the reenactment clause. And next in the queue, Delegate Price, you have another bill? Yes, ma'am.
I have House Bill 611.
611.
And so, Madam Chair and Senators, we started to talk about this. This was the Deaths in Custody Reporting Act for the state level, and there was some consternation about, I guess, local and regional jails having to report to DCJS. And so there has been a substitute prepared.
Yes, there is. Let us do that substitute. Can I get a motion?
I'll move the committee substitute.
There's a motion and a second that the committee substitute be agreed to. All in favor say aye. And now we can have some clarification on this substitute.
Madam Chair, the substitute essentially carves out, it has the same data that was under Delegate Price's original bill, but just for local and regional jails, that data would be collected and analyzed by the Board of Local and Regional Jails. The only other change is that under Delegate Price's original bill, any funds can be withheld if one of the entities doesn't comply. That's still true for all of the entities except for local and regional jails, just because the Board of Local and Regional Jails doesn't provide grants. And so that's the committee substitute.
And Madam Chair, I would definitely like to thank the attorney for working with me, because the intent of the bill is absolutely maintained with the substitute that you have before us, and this would allow for legislators to have a full picture of any death that has occurred from any law enforcement or any facility, and that's what we were trying to do. So I see this as a wonderful substitute.
Madam Chair, as amended, I move we report the bill.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported as amended. Please vote electronically.
Ayes 14, no zero.
Ayes 14, no zero. The bill is
Thank you,
reported as
Senators.
amended. Next in queue, Delegate Weber. You have House Bill 1460.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, 1460 creates the Virginia Verified Meat Certification Program, whereby a meat product that is born, raised, fed, and processed in the Commonwealth of Virginia will receive a certificate that it is indeed a Virginia verified. The reason for the budget amendment is that VDAX needs it to at least start up. And then the rest of the program is going to be administered via third parties. So, for instance, a Cattlemen's Association or various breed associations would be the actual certifier of the program, but VDAX will be the arbiter. And that's why there's the $25,000.
Any questions of the patron?
Madam Chair, move to report.
There's a motion and a second. The bill be reported. Committee members, please vote electronically.
Ayes 14, no zero.
Ayes 14, no zero. The bill is reported.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Delegate Tran?
Good afternoon, Madam Chairwoman and members of the committee. I have House Bill 1186.
Yes.
It is a Section 1 bill that creates a pilot to provide all-terrain wheelchairs at some of our state parks. It would use non-general funds based on the fees from the state park license plates, specialized license plates.
Any questions of the patron? Motion?
Madam Chairman, I think it's a
President McDougal?
good idea, but where do those fees go now?
I think there's somebody from the state parks. Our state parks director, Melissa Baker, is here, and she can answer that. If that's helpful, Madam Chairwoman.
Come forward.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my name is Melissa Baker. I'm the Director of Virginia State Parks, a division within the Department of Conservation and Recreation. I believe the question was, where do those funds go now?
Yes.
Those funds generally go to support operations of state parks. We have traditionally used that pot of money to do things that are innovative in providing additional services to visitors.
Does that satisfy your question, Senator McDougal?
I'm a little curious what it really does, but it at least gets me an idea.
Any other questions of the patron or the speaker? There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. Please open the roll, Madam Clerk.
Ayes 14, no zero.
Thank you so much.
Now we're going to go to the subcommittee reports, and Mike, I think we're going to start with you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the HHR subcommittee met this morning and heard 13 bills. So starting off with the identical bills, House Bill 27 by Delegate Carlson deals with kinship as foster care. The bill is a comprehensive bill that looks at placement with kinship foster care and placing a child into to avoid placing a child in foster care. It's identical to Senate Bill 39 by Senator Favola, which passed the Senate 40 yes, 0 no, and the subcommittee recommends the bill be reported 5 yes, 0 no.
So moved. There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. All in favor, please vote electronically. Please record your nays also.
Ayes 14, no zero.
Ayes 14, no zero. The bill is reported.
The next bill is House Bill 570 by Delegate Delaney. This creates the Prescription Drug Affordability Board. It's identical to Senate Bill 274 by Senator Deeds, which passed the Senate 23 yes, 16 no. The subcommittee recommends the bill be reported 3 yes, 2 no.
So moved. Second. Moved in second that the bill be reported. Please open the roll, Madam Clerk.
Ayes 10, noes 4.
Ayes 10, noes 4. The bill is reported.
The next bill is House Bill 326 by Delegate Glass. This bill deals with the social work licensure compact and directs Virginia to become a signatory to the compact. It's identical to Senate Bill 239 that by Senator Hashmi that passed the Senate, 28 yes, 13 no. The subcommittee recommend to report the bill 4 yes, 1 no.
There's motion and a second that the bill be reported. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 12, noes 2.
Ayes 12, noes 2, the bill reports.
The next bill is House Bill 314 by Delegate Hope. This deals with discharge planning at state hospitals, provides at 3 of the state hospitals that any patient discharged less than 30 days, that the discharge planning is handled by the hospital as opposed to the CSB. The agency can absorb the impact. It's identical to Senate Bill 179. The subcommittee recommends the bill be reported 5 yes, 0 no.
So moved. Motion and a second that the bill be reported. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 14, noes 0.
Ayes 14, no 0, the bill will be reported.
The next bill is House Bill 353 by Delegate Hope. This bill requires that any hospital with emergency department to have at least one licensed physician on duty and physically present at all times. It's identical to Senate Bill 392 by Senator Pekarsky, which passed the Senate 38 yes, 0 no, and the subcommittee recommends the bill be reported 5 yes, 0 no.
So moved. Moved and second that the bill be reported. Madam Clerk, open the roll.
Ayes 14, noes 0.
Ayes 14, no 0, the bill is reported.
The next bill is House Bill 806 by Delegate Rasool. This one directs DHRM to amend its policies to allow the Department of Behavioral Health and the state psychiatric hospitals to basically allow 12-hour shifts for nurses. It's identical to Senate Bill 177 by Senator Favola, which passed the Senate 40 yes, 0 no. Subcommittee recommends the bill be reported 5 yes, 0 no.
So moved. Moved and second that the bill be reported. Madam Clerk, open the roll.
Ayes 14, noes 0.
Ayes 14, no 0, the bill report.
The next bill, moving on to House bills that are similar to Senate bills, is House Bill 831 by Delegate Cousins. It deals with directing.
And Delegate Cousins is here?
Yes.
She wasn't at the subcommittee this morning. She wasn't able to be at the subcommittee this morning, Mr. Chair. Madam Chair, apologize.
Yes. Delegate Cousins? Yes. Could you give us a brief presentation?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. HB 831 asked the existing maternal mortality review team, which is housed under the Virginia Department of Health and Chief Medical Examiner's Office, to expand their data collection to collect data on maternal morbidity. Right now, they're collecting data on when people die during childbirth, they're collecting data on that. So this would expand their data collection to collect data on what we are referring to as close calls or catastrophic incidents where someone becomes seriously ill or nearly dies in the course of childbirth. We do not currently have any statewide mechanism for tracking maternal morbidity data. This is something that the existing review team identified as a need in their report that they released on January 30th. As you know, we have an ongoing maternal mortality crisis in Virginia. The rate of maternal mortality rose between 20 and 21 from 18 to 47 women per 100,000 live births. This is a continuation of a trend. Maternal mortality rates have been increasing in Virginia since 2017, and we know that Virginia's Black women are disproportionately impacted and are dying at a rate more than 2 times that of non-Hispanic white women. The fiscal impact is $115,000 in each year of the biennium for the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner to expand their team to collect this data.
And Madam Chair,
Senator Deeds.
this subcommittee considered this morning. Delegate Cousins wasn't in the room. This is nearly the same bill that Delegate Aird had, Senate Bill 490. Delegate Aird, I think, introduced the bill and didn't believe it to have a fiscal impact. When she found out it had a fiscal impact, she struck the bill. And we didn't feel like we could treat this differently than Delegate Aird's bills. So we recommended this morning carrying the bill over.
Senator Hashmi?
Madam Chair, if I may speak to the bill.
Yes.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, I just think that this is such an important bill for us. We have been working for several years to address the critical crisis of maternal mortality here in Virginia. Virginia continues to rank among the last of the states in maternal mortality. This is giving us an opportunity to collect more robust data, helping us to identify areas of concern, and hopefully then being able to provide meaningful action that would save lives. And that's literally what we're talking about, is saving the lives of mothers. And so I hope we might consider passing HB 831.
Senator Locke?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a couple of questions. The first question would be, I don't know to whom. Did Delegate Aird put in a budget amendment for her bill?
I'll have to ask staff to respond.
Madam Chair, Senator Locke, my understanding in my discussion with Senator Aird was that she had been working with the Health Department and just in those discussions believed it did not have a fiscal impact. So then when the fiscal impact statement came out, that basically, she was surprised by that, and that's why she asked for the bill to be stricken, because she thought it did not have a fiscal impact.
Madam Chair, thank you, Madam Chair. So it was not because of a lack of importance of the legislation, it was because she did not have a budget amendment in, which is why she struck the bill. It was not because of the importance of the issue. As you know, I have legislation in regarding cultural and implicit bias on maternal mortality and morbidity. And I agree with Senator Hashmi with regard to this particular issue is seriously important. And if I may ask the delegate a question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Is this did you put in a budget amendment with your legislation?
Yes, this is included in the House budget.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And again, it's $115,000 over the biennium for 2 years, each year over the biennium.
Thank you.
I believe there was a motion.
Senator Evans.
Motion from Senator Hashmi. Can I second that?
Move to report.
Yes, I think before we pass the motion, Senator Locke needed to get her.
Well,
I was done.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I guess the only thing that I look to the chair for guidance on this.
Well.
Okay. I've got my guidance.
Well, I just want to say this is an issue that has been critically important to a lot of us. And we've held a lot of forums all across the state and a lot of them right there in Hampton Roads. And so I know we have the fiscal issues that we're looking at, but I'd like to see this bill move forward.
Move to report.
Second.
It's been moved and second that the bill be reported. All in favor, I want you to vote electronically.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Thank you.
The bill is reported.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the next bill is House Bill 908 by Delegate Shin. This deals with financial eligibility for the development disabilities, the waivers. Essentially, it provides that in determining financial eligibility, that Social Security disability insurance income would be excluded so that no one falls off the waiver. It's sort of a kind of an immediate issue. So the bill has an expiration date of July 1st, 2025, just to deal with the immediate issue. Because of that short time frame, the subcommittee actually recommends amending the bill to extend the date by 1 additional year to July 1st, 2026, and then reporting the bill 6 yes, 0 no.
There's a motion and a second that the amendment be agreed to. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye. Move to report.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported with the amendment. Please vote electronically.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill is reported with the amendment.
Madam Chair, so the next set of bills are just other bills for which there was no Senate companion. So turning to House Bill 34 by Delegate Clark. This deals with the statute of limitations for medical debt payments. It reduces the date from 5 years to 3 years for collection. In the subcommittee this morning, an issue was raised that this could possibly impact the Department of Medical Assistance and Medicaid's collections. So the subcommittee recommends that the bill be amended to exclude any impact on DMAS or Medicaid, and then to report the bill 4 yes, 2 no.
Could I have a motion on the amendment?
So moved.
There's a motion and a second that the amendment be agreed to. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. Senator Favola, I see your name in queue. Okay, thank you.
Move to report as amended.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported as amended. Please open the roll.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill will be reported with the amendment.
The next bill is House Bill 252 by Delegate Cole. This deals with the creation of a statewide registry for sickle cell disease. It has a fiscal impact of just over $400,000 per year. The subcommittee recommends the bill be reported due to the importance of the issue. 6 yes, 0 no. But there was still some further thought about the fiscal impact and maybe including a reenactment clause just to keep the issue alive in conference.
I move that we put a reenactment clause on the bill.
You hear the motion for the reenactment and a second. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye.
I move to report the bill as amended.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported as amended. Please vote electronically.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill is reported with the amendment.
The next bill is House Bill 1366 by Delegate Delaney. This deals with background checks for the local departments of social services to ensure that all employees and contractors or final candidates for employment are fingerprinted and complete the background checks. This was funded in the introduced budget, and the subcommittee recommends that the bill be reported 6 yes, 0 no.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. Please vote electronically.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill is reported.
The next bill is House Bill 987 by Delegate Maldonado. This deals with the proton radiation therapy. It basically provides that a health insurance carrier may consider a sufficient standard of clinical evidence to justify coverage of proton radiation therapy if the treatment is covered by a government health plan or a treating physician or radiation oncologist recommends such therapy. The subcommittee recommends the bill be reported 4 yes, 0 no.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill is reported.
Madam Chair, the final bill in the HHR subcommittee report is HB 93. This bill directs the Board of Health to include alpha-gal syndrome on the list of diseases that are required to be reported. The subcommittee recommends the bill be reported 6 yes, 0 no.
So moved.
And second, there's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill is reported. And now we will move to the Bills and Resources Subcommittee. I'll get that report from Tyler.
Yes. Madam Chair, the first bill are the identical House bills. House Bill 141, Delegate Reed, relates to a Veterans Fellowship for State Government pilot program. This bill is identical to Senator Reeves' Senate Bill 113, which the committee continued to 2025, 10 yes, 5 no. Subcommittee recommends continuing the House Bill 3 yes, 1 no.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be continued. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 13, noes 1.
Ayes 13, noes 1. The bill is reported. I carry it over.
The next bill are the similar House bills, House Bill 1284. This relates to collective bargaining for firefighters. This bill is similar to your bill, Madam Chair, Senate Bill 623, which was continued by the committee. The subcommittee recommends continuing the House bill 4 yes, 0 no, and having the General Government Subcommittee studying in the interim.
So moved.
You've heard the motion and the second that the bill be carried over. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0, the bill is carried over.
Madam Chair, the next bill is House Bill 309, Delegate Hope, relating to forest land and urban tree canopy conservation plan. This bill is similar to Senate Bill 461, which has passed the Senate. Subcommittee's recommendation is to conform House Bill 309 to Senate Bill 461 and then reporting the bill for yes, 0 no.
Heard the motion for the
Ayes 14, no 0.
The next bill is House Bill 1403, Delegate Lawfer, relating to dam safety, flood prevention and protection assistance fund and the use of those funds. This is similar to Senate Bill 698, which was continued by the committee. Subcommittee's recommendation is to continue House Bill 1403, 3 yes, 1 no.
It's been moved and seconded that the bill be continued. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 12, noes 2.
Ayes 12, noes 2, the bill is carried over.
Madam Chair, the next bill is House Bill 321, Delegate McQuinn, relating to Line of Duty Act and the death benefit payout. This bill is similar to Senate Bill 649, which has passed the Senate. The subcommittee recommends conforming House Bill 321 to Senate Bill 649 and then reporting the bill for yes,
Can I get
0
a
no.
motion on the, there's a motion and a second that the bills be conformed. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Motion on the bill? It's been moved and seconded that the bill be reported as conformed. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0, the bill is reported with the substitute.
Madam Chair, the next bill is House Bill 107, Delegate Sullivan, relating to an electric vehicle infrastructure program and fund. This bill is similar to Senate Bill 457, Senator Marsden, which was continued by the committee. The subcommittee's recommendation is to amend the bill by adding a reenactment clause and reporting the bill 3 yes, 0 no.
I'll move the reenactment clause.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Move to report as amended.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported as amended. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 10, noes 4.
Ayes 10, noes 4, the bill is reported with the amendment.
Madam Chair, the next bill is House Bill 316, Delegate Bulova, relating to Virginia Recycling Development Center. Subcommittee's recommendation is to adopt a committee substitute which establishes the fund in this bill and then reporting the bill for yes, 0 no.
Can I get a motion on the substitute?
I'll move the substitute.
There's a motion and a second that the substitute be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. It's been moved and seconded that the bill be reported as amended. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 14, noes 0.
Ayes 14, noes 0. The bill will be reported with the substitute.
The next bill is HB 420, Delegate Bulova, relating to the federal park operations during a federal government shutdown. The subcommittee recommends continuing the bill for yes, 0 no.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be carried over. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 13, noes 1.
Ayes 13, noes 1. The bill will be continued.
House Bill 1401 was passed by for the day. The next bill is House Bill 489, relating to the Fire Programs Fund and the use of the Fire Programs Fund. The subcommittee recommends continuing the bill 3 yes, 1 no.
Second.
Motion and a second that the bill be continued. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 10, noes 4.
Ayes 10, noes 4. The bill will be continued.
The next bill is House Bill 1433. This relates to the Line of Duty Act. It was passed by for the day. The next bill is House Bill 1053, Delegate Knight, relating to abandoned watercraft and the destruction and disposal by localities and state agencies. And the subcommittee recommends reporting 4 yes, 0 no.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill will be reported.
The next bill is House Bill 814, the Virginia Tourism Authority, and it relates to historically accurate advertising on the tourism's website and their publications. The subcommittee recommends reporting the bill 4 yes, 0 no.
There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 14, no 0.
The next bill is House Bill 1312, which was passed by for the day. The next bill is House Bill 1098, Delegate Rasul, relating to unpaid family bereavement leave. The subcommittee recommends adopting a substitute which would direct DOLE and DHRM to study unpaid family bereavement leave and reporting.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Madam Chair, the next bill is House Bill 315 relating to DMAS and the claim of personal injuries. The subcommittee recommends adopting a committee substitute which extends the time for the request from the lawyer to DMAS for the repayment of medical claims and then reporting the bill.
May I get a
4 yes,
May I
0
get
no.
a? Okay. There's a motion and a second that the substitute be agreed to. All in favor, please say aye. There's a motion and a second that the bill be reported with the substitute. All in favor, please vote electronically.
Ayes 14, no 0.
Ayes 14, noes 0. The bill will report with the substitute.
The next bill is House Bill 139 relating to underground infrastructure works by public service companies and the payment of the prevailing wage rate. Subcommittee recommends reporting 3 yes, 1 no.
Madam Chair.
Senator Dees.
Madam Chair, I move we put a reenactment clause on this bill so we can continue to talk about it.
There's a motion and a second that we put the reenactment clause on. All in favor say aye. Aye. Senator Marsden.
Madam Chair, I think one of the problems here is straightening out the language. I think it's being interpreted in a couple of different ways as to whether public utility would have to, that they would have to keep a private company's personnel payment records and what have you. So I think this is an excellent way forward, but that has got to be resolved. Just exactly what the language means. I don't know whether a letter to the Attorney General or just having DLS review it, but it's you know, it has been a matter of contention on this bill.
We need to have some clarification on that.
So,
Is it fine like it is?
So I'll report the bill with the reenactment.
Okay, that's fine.
Move to report the bill with the reenactment.
Okay, there's a motion that the bill be reported with the reenactment clause. All in favor, please vote electronically.
Ayes 10, noes 4.
Ayes 10, noes 4. The bill will be reported with the amendment, which is the reenactment clause. Okay.
Madam Chair, the last bill from the subcommittee is House Bill 700, which relates to higher education grants for students, for students who are formerly in foster care. And the subcommittee recommends a substitute which limits the grants to only tuition and mandatory E&G fees, and reporting the bill 4 yes, 0 no.
Motion on the substitute?
Move the substitute.
There's a motion and a second that the substitute be agreed to. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Now move to report.
Now there's a motion that the bill be reported with the substitute. There's a motion and a second. So, Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Ayes 14, no zero.
Ayes 14, no zero. The bill will report with the substitute. That should clear the docket, and if there's no further business, the committee shall rise.
Senate of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia.